Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Chai Together. I am your founder and creator, Prativa Day. Today we have with us Stefan Sizzle Shugs. Stefan is going to talk about self-confidence, overcoming adversity, and unity. Stefan was born and raised in Washington, D.C. He is no stranger to the humble beginnings generational poverty can present. But being the eldest of five, he always attempted to remain cool, at least publicly. Privately, it was a deep struggle. He would go on to live a misguided lifestyle as an adult until the pandemic made him realize that he needed to wake up, get help, and chase his dreams. Otherwise, he would perish without leaving a legacy. And that thought made him think that it's time. So welcome, Sizzle.
Thank
How are
you.
you
Thank you for
feeling?
Thank you for having me. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Bit
Great.
nervous today. All right. So let's talk a bit about your journey regarding those humble beginnings.
Yes. So as I stated, I grew up in Washington, D.C. No stranger to humble beginnings, whether it be evictions, foster care, hungry nights, just very, very dark days. We didn't have a lot growing up. So we learned to make the best of what we had.
Right.
And I didn't realize how bad it was until I really got away because I had something to compare it to.
Okay. So what was the point when so you're the eldest of five. So was there ever a point where you had to sacrifice something for your other siblings?
I feel like to some degree, my whole childhood, I sacrificed my youth being a child. From
Mhm.
as long as I can remember, I had to deal with some adult-like situations. And once again, being the oldest, it was one of those situations where I didn't want to let my brothers and sisters see me panic. So I almost put on this "I got us" kind of, monitor. And my younger siblings, especially my younger brother, he used to act out a lot. So I used to try to do my best to kind of, just give him something to see it ain't that bad. Hey, I'm here with you. It was tough though.
Okay. That's good to know. So growing up, how were you as a student in school?
Oddly enough, and that's how I always know it was a God, because throughout all the mist and all the chaos around me, I was a great student. Me and my siblings, we all did well in school. We all took school pretty seriously. I feel like self-consciously, I did know that education would help me get out, so I did take school seriously.
Okay. Were there any struggles mentally that you had during school? Like, did you feel that your home environment affected you a lot?
That's a great question. I feel like it did, but as I stated, I did a great job of keeping a poker face. A lot of the
Mhm.
things I dealt with in school, a lot of my classmates, a lot of the people around me, they had no idea. I would come to school, I would be vibrant, I would raise my hand, answer the questions. I was known for getting good grades. I had a pretty good standing at the school, but they didn't know what I was dealing with privately. I wanted to keep it that way, especially in high school, because in middle school, some of the kids did know what we were dealing with, and it was horrible. So I told myself, when I get a new school, new beginning, I'm not telling them nothing.
So what? You told your friends and they spread the word?
Well, no, in middle school, it wasn't like that. In middle school, how me and my brother got into the foster care system, it was a very public event. They came up to the school and they pulled us. It was just,
Oh, yeah.
it was very embarrassing. It was like during lunchtime, so they walking us walk out with child protective agents.
Wow. That's a topic for the rest of the day until you go home, and then you talk about it when you get home with your friends and parents.
Oh yeah, it was. I can look back on things like that and laugh now, but oh man, it wasn't quite funny back then.
Wow. So what was the school you went to in high school?
I went to Cesar Chavez Public Charter School in Washington D.C.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
so grateful for going to that school, to be honest, because
Mhm.
I knew even before high school, I knew I couldn't go to one of the DC public schools. They're a little bit rough, My school was a brand new school when it opened. My year was the first year. I remember,
Wow.
sitting there when we were peeling the tape and stuff off the water fountains. It was so brand new. So it was an interesting environment. I really appreciated my school.
It seems like you really kept your head up and were confident all along with resiliency throughout school because you're wearing that poker face. So it's kind of like you lied to yourself and that's how you became and got through it because you told yourself that, you're a good student and all of those positive things. So moving forward, I know you have a daughter. So talk a little
Yeah,
bit about your daughter.
my daughter is Indy. She's a gift from God. She's wise above her years. She hits me with something almost prophetic on a daily basis. She's my motivation. She's everything. She really is. She's a very good kid, and I'm not just saying that because she's my daughter.
Yeah.
Yes.
So recently, you were featured as a summit speaker on Les Brown's page for the Power Voice program. Congrats on that. Um,
Very much.
and you just created your website. Now, I've taken a look at your website and it really represents unity and oneness. So, do you want to talk a bit about your website?
Yes, yes. Like Les Brown said, sometimes you got to get started, and so
Yes.
I was able to go ahead and put up my website, www.bethevoidtoday.com. And the goal is once again just to create unity, to create awareness in the youth. I want to get to a point where young men, it's not a bad thing for them to talk about their emotional feelings and to connect with each other and to bond with each other. Because one thing I noticed, we have more in common than we have differences. And sometimes it just takes breaking that ice or having the courage to come together to even realize that in the first place. So my ultimate mission and my ultimate goal, as I may have told you before, is to start some sort of group home youth orphanage for young men and women that kind of dealt with some of the things that I dealt with, where I can kind of keep a closer scope on them and make sure that they're treated right. I don't want them to have to wait 29, 30 years as I am myself to finally wake up and get away from some of that turmoil. I want to maybe be a part of the reason why they can do it in their teens and 20s so they can have a more fruitful 20s than I did.
Amazing. You mentioned the pandemic was your wake up call. So, talk a little bit about that.
Yes. Now, to be honest, and I know I'm not the only one that felt this way, there have always been little wake-up calls along the way. There are little alarms that ring in your head. Those little fire alarms, you just don't always check them. You just try to press them off instead of really addressing the source. So for one, I want to start there. There have always been little signs, but the pandemic was the ultimate sign. Once again, losing my job, understanding the climate, understanding how disposable we are on this front line, so to speak, and just feeling like, wow, if my life was to end right now, I would not have a legacy. I was thinking in March, because when everyone was scared, I was thinking if I got this and I passed away right now, a few people would mourn and things like that. But this would not be on any kind of major spectrum. Like, no disrespect to myself, I would just be one of the numbers. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like that kind of hit me in my soul. Not even just for me, for my daughter, for my family, for the generational plague of this. And I was like, man, I don't want to go out like that. I want to be part of the change. So I made a commitment to my life, and I really do believe that I had a talk with God. To be honest with you, I believe we had a talk, and I believe we made a pact, and I believe that He told me if I fulfill my end, He will fulfill His. And honest to God, these last few months, I'm a witness that that is true, and I'm gonna keep following it because I'm seeing the results. I'm seeing the
Yes,
results.
I've seen it because I'm walking right with you on this journey. You're doing awesome. So, at this time, what would you consider to be your best moment in life so far?
My best moment in life, man. I've been having a lot of good ones lately. I'll try to give you
Yeah.
two. One of them was looking at my daughter. That was euphoric. Oh my God, that was just something special. And I'll tell you a quick story about that. I don't
Yeah,
tell many
sure.
publicly, but once her head came out, the doctor said, "Do you want to touch it?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to touch it. Just finish the process." I have a very weak stomach. I'll be honest with you. Like just a
Yeah.
little blood can make me pass out. So once they poured the whole body out, I'll be honest, I don't remember anything after that. I passed out. I did not cut the umbilical cord. I don't remember that process. When
Yeah.
I had two nurses myself fanning me, checking, making sure that I was okay as well. So, that's my little story about that part. And
That is hilarious.
the second best moment was honestly reading Les Brown, a poem I wrote him, and that was crazy.
Yes.
And for him to say he wanted it to be in his movie and just to know that impact. I remember just being a person sitting around on YouTube listening to Les
Yeah.
Brown.
Yeah.
I wish I could talk to that guy. I remember Google. I didn't even know if he was still alive. I was like, man, he looks pretty old in some of these clips, and they're from the '90s. So I remember Googling this Les Brown still alive, and he was like, yeah, he is. And then I wrote him on his page, and look at
Wow.
the full circle, man. God is amazing, man.
Would you like to recite any of your poems today?
Yes, I'll recite a poem today.
Awesome.
I'll recite a poem. I'll actually recite the poem I just read in church yesterday. Is that
Awesome.
okay?
Yes, of course.
Now, this is to, because, September is also prostate cancer month as well. And, want to bring awareness. And I noticed in my community, we don't always go get tested. We don't always go get checked. We don't always take that initiative. And I want to step up. I want to encourage my men to do that a little bit more. So I wrote a little something. I hope you like it. All right. My Black brothers, I have a message. When is the last time you've been checked out or tested? And if it's been a minute, I suggest you see a clinic. Whether old or young, don't be the one to neglect this temple. It's really that simple. I know you're working hard on your path for wealth, but you can't enjoy your money without your health. It's time we truly show we love ourselves. And reach out to your brother if you need some help. I may not have all the answers, but I'm tired of losing my people to cancers and ailments that plague our community. We can conquer all demons with the help of God, health, and unity. Get tested, my brother, get tested. I don't want you or your loved ones to regret it. I hope someone gets this message. Get tested.
Wow. I'm going to clap solo. You are amazing. So have you been posting your poems now online?
I have not been posting them publicly. To be honest, what I've kind of
Mhm.
been doing is making a little stockpile and talking to someone and kind of maybe going to a route of publishing a few poems.
Yes.
So
Now you just have.
I
You
want
just
to.
have.
I have more poems than you probably would imagine, but I kind of
Mhm.
want to sort some out. Some I kind of want to mean a little bit more to me, and some I kind of do want to start sporadically, maybe once a week, kind of have a theme thing, challenge people to a poetry day or something.
Yes.
I'm working on something along those lines. Poetry is really just
Yes.
a passion of mine, so I can do it anytime. I love it, and now I'm getting more into writing poetry with a purpose, and I can really see that it's taking it to another level.
How does your family feel about all of these achievements recently? How do they feel?
That's a great question. Mixed feelings from my perspective. I would say there's some support in the family. I don't want to exclude that, but I would also say to some people it's just business as usual. To be honest with you, if everything I did was contingent on family, we wouldn't be on this podcast right now. I still would be no one. I would not have made most of the ripples that I've made over the last few months. I didn't start really making those ripples until I woke up for me and I realized it didn't matter what anyone thought, good or bad. I appreciate support, don't get me wrong, but it's almost
Yes.
a bonus at this point. You get what I'm saying? I don't need it as the fuel to do what I do because I notice listening to the voices is kind of what kept me back. I used to read these poems, the same person that I am starting to be now publicly. I used to be that same person around my family and friends. And I don't always feel like, it was necessarily, maybe taken for granted to some degree. But I understand that my calling may just be bigger than just my scope around me, And
Yes.
I'm embracing that, and I just have nothing but love for everyone at this moment. I really just preach unity, and I feel like if I haven't won you over, whether family, friend, or foe, then my goal is, we still got time.
Yes. The ones that are close to you, they can't recognize your greatness because they're so normalized to your behaviors and actions that they can't see beyond that. So that is the reason why. So I definitely wouldn't take it personal. And I think everything you're doing is really great. Is there any wisdom that you'd like to share with our community today?
Yeah, I would just say unity, 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 unity. Everyone has their own personal goals. Everyone has their own aspirations. You know me, I'm the first person to ever say you can do anything, go for it. But don't just think about yourself. That would just be the one thing I would just pass on to everyone. Try to think about someone else today. Do a random kind act today, maybe. Do something that you normally wouldn't do. To be honest, this is a true story. Sometimes when I'm feeling down, when I'm feeling really, really down, I will walk around downtown Morgantown with just a pocket full of wands. I keep some wands on me. Mainly the reason I started keeping wands on me is because when I used to work at the bank, random people in the street used to ask me if I had $1 or two. And my excuse was always, I don't have no cash, because I didn't. I just had a card. And I wanted to remove myself from that excuse. Now, if I really wanted to say no to you, then I should just have the courage to say, hey, not today, not today, brother. But I don't want to say I don't have cash. So I start carrying wands with me. And sometimes when I'm really, really feeling down, I will walk downtown, walk around the block once or twice. I know someone's going to ask me. And I will just, here you go, here you go. And it humbles me, and it puts things in perspective. It reminds me, whatever it is I'm complaining about or yelling about, here's a guy right here, don't got half the things I got. He's not even complaining. He's dealing with life as life comes. Now, if I can't get on the court with him, man, I got it all messed up, and I deserve to have this pain that I have because I'm not being grateful enough right now.
Sizzle, you are a gift. It's endless. Like, we can hear from you endlessly because you have so many gems to share. So I want to ask about the darkest point of your life, overcoming that adversity. So was that as of recent during the pandemic, or was it before that?
Man, to be completely honest with you,
Yes, be honest.
I feel like I was built for this, man. I would be lying if I said the pandemic was the hardest times of my life. I feel like all the hard times, leading up to, I feel like my life almost to a degree was a pandemic. I feel like if anything,
Yes.
the pandemic started to help me get out of the pandemic of my life. I don't know, maybe I need to write that down. I might be going somewhere with that.
That's awesome. Write it down.
But to be honest with you, man, I've just seen so many things as a child. I always grew up questioning. I had a conversation with an uncle like a week ago, and he said, when you were young, I didn't used to see you as this talkative, as just self-assertive, as this confident. And I said, to be honest with you, I don't necessarily think that was true. I think that this was always in me. I think that that's just two sides of me. First, I look and I observe, and I see if my voice is needed in that particular environment. And I used to always feel like I was suppressed, or I was in environments where my voice wasn't needed, so I was more reserved. But when I know that I'm comfortable and this is my environment, I'm a leader. I'm a natural born leader. And I told him the analogy I use a lot. I give people, breadcrumbs, and I see how they digest them before I introduce them to the whole loaf. And if you can't handle the crumbs, I'm not going to introduce you to the loaf. It's pointless. I'm wasting my bread.
Wow. Wow. That's all I have to say for you. It's just greatness. You're already there.
I'm trying to get there. I'm humble. I'm more humble than you know. I chase it every single day. I don't feel like I'm there yet. And sometimes people tell me that's going to be the reason why I'm going to get whatever I end up getting. But I tell myself it's not for me to look at it that way. It's for me to keep getting up every single day and chasing a better me than I had yesterday, to be honest with you. That's all I can do at this point.
Yes, Bernard Miller, I was listening to him on Sachin Govinder's podcast yesterday, and he was stating that we're all born stars. Like when you're born as a baby, everyone wants to focus on the baby, but a lot of us, when we grow up, we become the extras and play small roles in our own life. So I definitely can resonate with what you're saying there.
I get that, but I've always had this vision. I've always had this dream of, I never wanted to be cocky, but I've always had this confidence that I am a big player, and I will be. And in this movie of my life, that I do have a starring role. Now, the beginning was supposed to be a little shaky, the intrigue and the interest and really to pull you in. But man, that second half of the story, whoo!
Yeah, wait.
Whoo! And when I do, oh baby, when I do.
Yes. Make sure you get me those VIP tickets, okay?
For sure. And I appreciate people like you. And that's what I said about showing support, unity. You've always been supportive since day one. Before
Yes.
and I will never ever forget things like that. You never forget the people who embrace you immediately, who can already see something in you. And that's why I will always be a supporter of you as well. And you also get VIP tickets when you make it big.
Yes. This is emotional. The journey we're both on right now, it's like we're climbing right now. So, we're going through it all because we're climbing. Amazing.
It's fun. But you gotta enjoy the journey as well. You can't just be worried about the destination. That's what a lot of people do. That's why you get frustrated and stressed out, because you put all your energy into one destination. No, the beauty's in the journey as well. The scenes, man, it's beautiful, because it's gonna be a moment you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, wow, I did this and that led to this. And I did this just out the kindness in my heart. And I couldn't have anticipated this would happen. That's why I've learned, I just let life live. I flow. I do kind things. I help people. There have been times I've done things where people around me question, why are you doing it? Only to, in a month later, be like, well, I guess I see why you did that. Seems like that turned out pretty well for you. Congratulations. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to do things my way, because I feel like I have a connection with God. And I know everything I do is with good intent. And I can rest on that. I won't always be perfect. I will make mistakes, but I know that it is there, and I can rest easy on that, knowing that.
Wow. Thank you for blessing us with your presence today on Chai Together. I wish you well. Let the community know where they can find you on social media, please.
Yes, as I'm continuing to get more socially technical and things like that. I've literally only just been on social media the last 3 months since I woke up. Oh, wow, I need to. But right now on Facebook, Sizzle Suggs, and my website, www.BeTheVoidToday, and that's today with the number 2. You can hit me up on there. You can check out the website. You can reach out to me for any speaking engagements, any coaching, any uplifting messages. I'm always here for anyone in the community.
Thank you. And I'll leave his information below. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Catch you next time.